Hello, everyone. Dr. Ames here. This time, I'd like to make some general remarks about the human resource management function, and in particular on the three sectors of activity. You can see here the definition of human resource management, the formal system that we use in organization to identify employees' knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics, which are referred to as CASOCs. And we want to identify those characteristics in our employees because we want to accomplish our organizational goals. And in order to do that, we have to have specific responsibilities that the HR managers hold, and they have to have certain skills. So, in general, they have to be able to perform the recruitment, selection, and hiring function. Those are the things that we associate the most with the HR management function. They also have to do training and development. Sometimes they have to develop that training themselves, and other times they can use purchase package or already made packages on different topics. HR managers also have to be concerned with compensation and benefits, and they have to be aware of current market conditions and so forth in order to pull that off right. They have to look at how are we doing with retention? What is our turnover in this organization and so forth? And what level of evaluation do we do? And what are the methods that we choose to do those evaluations? We have to handle promotions. And indeed, the HR manager is the one that has to do all of the labor management relations, more or less, for the organization. We operate within a context of the three sectors of human activity. You can see them here. We have the private sector, the nonprofit sector, and the public sector. And all of these combined come together to operate our economy, to produce our GDP, and indeed are reflections of the culture that we live in. An HR manager can operate and work in any of the three sectors, but the three sectors have varying requirements and attitudes and values that they present. When you talk about the private sector, we're talking about making a profit. And so we have a variety of corporations, which are often larger entities. We have sole proprietorships run by individuals, partnerships, and we have a plethora of organizations out there, both big and small. In the nonprofit sector, we're not really concerned about profit as much. That's not the end goal, although we have to have profit. But generally, the nonprofit sector is about organizations that are pursuing a cause or an idea. And this is really the main value of the nonprofit sector. All the values in the private sector revolve around making profit and so forth for the stakeholders of those organizations. Well, in the nonprofit sector, certainly you want to make revenue and so forth, but you're working in different areas of human endeavor that you want to improve in some way, a group of individuals that you want to help in some way, an idea or a cause that you think will further what is good for humanity in general and society. So you're working in different areas. It's not about profit. You're working in the education area to improve some cause in that general area category. Also in religion, in the environment, in healthcare, in social well-being, just in a general way. And then when we look at the public sector, we're really talking about not profit and not really about causes or ideas that we would like to bolster or support or help in some way, but we're talking about doing things that provide the common good. And so we have government, and we have government at all levels in the public sector. We have national government equated with the federal government. We have state government. And then within those state governments, we have counties and cities and municipalities of all types. And so that is where the activity in our lives is happening. In the private sector, it's easy to identify companies and so forth. Generally, they have recognizable logos and brands, and they have worked quite hard over time to create a brand awareness in our minds as consumers. So the values of the private sector, well, besides profit, we have efficiency, we have effectiveness, we have timeliness, and we have reliability. Those are all powerful values, and they have to be operated within and guide our framework of ethical behavior when we go about making profit. When we're in the public sector, we have values that are very similar to the private sector. We also rely on efficiency and effectiveness, on timeliness and reliability, but we have a democracy. And in our democratic culture, the government is presumed to be owned by all citizens. And most of the revenues that do support the government agencies typically come from taxes paid by individuals and organizations. So the public sector is full of individuals who are working directly for federal, state, or local units, and they're all considered to be employees of the government, just at various levels. What you won't find in the public sector are the values that are not found probably in the private sector. You will find values of accountability to public and elected officials. We don't have those values or those constraints generally in the private sector. We find the value of responsiveness to the law and government authorities. We conform to ethical standards, usually very strict standards of accountability in the public sector. And public affairs are expected by the public to be conducted with the goals of fairness, equal treatment, social equity, and impartiality. Okay, folks, that's all I wanted to talk about this time. I'll talk to you soon.